Some renovation projects you just know are going to unleash a domino effect of chaos. This one corner of the house has been bothering us since we had our first house viewing. Missing and broken windows, guttering hanging into the next postcode, floorboards pre-tubed by Woodworm, and enough cluster flies to start a horror movie. This aging window has done surprisingly well for something that was installed with more optimism than accuracy. As you can see, there's huge gaps around the window, big enough to fit a whole wildlife documentary in. We've had cluster flies, bees, hornets, and we've even had the odd lizard take home rent-free. But the real genius masterpiece is these drainage holes should be above the lintel. So yeah, we got to cut slots in that, but that's led to damp in the wall below, lots of cracks, and the water has got in, and that's led to damp in the floorboards, damp in the joists, damp in the lintel below. Yeah, so that was a real stroke of genius, and that's had a real knock-on effect everywhere, really. In France, windows are supposedly built to standard metric sizes. This one is about 1.7 metres tall by about 1 metre wide, but clearly no one told our stone walls. Spirit levels and tape measures are basically an optional extra. Plumb lines, the same thing. This wall might not look much, but it's got quite a bit of history, more history than some of my family heirlooms. Now if you look hard enough, you can spot oil stains, burn marks, and that's from when it was a workbench, many decades ago. Now I built this wall in quite a bit of a rush, and I built it with hand tools. I didn't even have electric to power battery drills, and I built it in about an afternoon. So yeah, it was quite a bit of a struggle, so excuse the lack of delicacy with this wall. But yeah, it now hides electrics, that's a sewerage pipe, that's cold water there, that's heating. So yeah, there's quite a bit going on in this wall. So basically, yeah, it holds quite a bit of structure. Now up there, those bits of wall there, they're holding up the shower. That one there is holding up the heated towel rail. So yeah, it's doing quite a bit of work, this old wall. So yeah, excuse the, crude construction, but it's got quite a bit of work to do, this old wall. What I've now got to do is I've got to put my mask on, and I've got a packet full of this stuff, which is 100 millimeters of natural wall insulation. I think it's like crushed stone basically, and I'm going to pack it all out, and then I'm going to plasterboard over the top. I'm actually pretty chuffed because this is the last of the first fix cables coming up from the consumer unit downstairs. So yeah, pretty big milestone. So yeah, it actually makes about 2.5 miles of cables so far. What's that, about 4 kilometers? But yeah, we still haven't really finished the wiring yet, because we've still got the rest of the house to wire with all the little sort of like itty bitty cables that go around each room and stuff. Yeah, so who knows how much cable we will have used by the time we're finished. But yeah, still a huge milestone, really. Pretty chuffed. Now this wall is finally finished. It's serenity for me, it's calm, it's closure, it's a symbol of peace. Meanwhile, on the other side of it, as you probably saw, it was absolute chaos. It was me wedged into tiny crawl spaces like a subterranean spider, pulling hundreds of meters of cable and plumbing. It was me reliving past careers I thought I'd sworn off with gusto. So now when visitors come in, they can just see the €3 painting that we bought in a Bricon, and they can look on it, they can carry on sipping their lovely cup of tea or glass of wine, because we are in France after all. So they can never see what lurks beneath this wall, and to be honest, that's absolutely fine with me. So yeah, it's finished. it's done, it's complete, and that's just the way I like it. We're trying to stay up with all the modern technology as best we can. We've got various devices out throughout the house which are all Wi-Fi enabled, switches, cameras, and this heater, for instance, it's got an app on my phone. You can set up rooms, and that. This is in our hobby room, for instance. So if you're on one of those cheap electricity schemes, it'll come on your cheap day or your expensive day, it'll turn off, and it's linked to Google Maps. So if Google Maps says it's cold outside, it'll turn the heater on automatically for you. Brilliant, eh? So yeah, we're trying to stay with the times as best we can. Have you ever had one of those dreams that's so vivid and real that when you wake up you just have to, go and check that it's not actually true? Well, I woke up this morning still with sleepy dust in my eyes and my slippers on, and I had to come in here and actually check that basically both of these wires should have a yellow stripe on them and not red. Red means it's 1.5 millimeters and yellow means it's 2.5 millimeters. And I had to come in here and check that I hadn't messed up, basically. So basically this is a ring main. So I hadn't messed up, which is like really lucky. It's really, really spooky. So what a relief that was. Mandy is up the ladder doing a bit of bashy, removing the coving because it's in a pretty poor state. But the main reason is because the plaster is what they call blown. It is detached from the wall.
You can hear there. Solid.
Nice and solid. There.
Yeah.
Not so solid.
So, of course, I've started taking it off, and this bit here was just by the wayside. But
what you can see here is where when we moved in there was a hole clear through into the chimney, and that is because someone decided rather than to route the chimney up the chimney, they just decided to place it into the wall. But up here, rather worryingly, you can see right through to the outside of the house. There is daylight. Ta-da!
Jeez.
Yeah. That is quite a draft blowing through there now. That is cold air.
Hello, world.
Hello, world.
And it's not a small hole either.
Yeah, that wall there is nearly a metre thick. We're having a bit of a discovery mission in this corner of the room because basically around the beams up at the top, and definitely in this corner of the room, the plaster is all blown and detached from the wall. And in the corner of the room, the electrics basically came into the room. So there's a big cable. And also when we visited the house, the guttering was, doing a Tarzan impression of the corner of the house. So there's a big crack where basically the front wall and the side wall don't join, so the plaster is detaching rather too easily. So we're discovering where the plaster attaches firmly, and we might end up taking the plaster off the whole entire wall.
I mean, it feels dry underneath mine.
Yeah, because the plaster on the front wall was wet.
This is quite nice, so we've rectified the problem outside.
Yeah.
But it's just old, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a heck of a pipe there.
Yeah.
Ugh. Metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Underneath all the blown plaster, this wall has actually got a bit of fighting spirit, considering, if you have a look here, it's a slightly different colour, and that's because it's quite damp. Round the beams, it's been dropping out and falling off as we sort of like take it off, and that's caused some of the beams to have a bit of rot in the end. There are quite a lot of cracks in it all over, and if you have a look here, you know, it's basically dropping out because it's actually just turned dry and it's turned into sand really, so there's no integrity left in the mortar itself whatsoever. So what we're going to do is we're going to rake it all out, and to a depth of probably 1 or 2 centimeters, not too deep, and that'll stop all the insects and all the flies, all the wasps, everything else like that nesting in the wall below the plaster, and it'll basically give this wall a whole lot more strength and everything like that, and it'll allow it to breathe basically like the wall should do, and it'll allow this wall to last, well, another 100 years hopefully. Instead of feeding the stovepipes up the chimney, they decided to patch them straight through the wall, not even into the chimney, because the chimney actually goes sort of like in a diagonal direction that way. These holes here actually go clean through the wall and miss the chimney. But the weird thing is, here there was smoke on the wallpaper and we were wondering why, but they've actually patched up the back of the mantelpiece with plastic, you know, because that wouldn't generate toxic black smoke at all, would it? Yeah, that's quite a genius idea, isn't it? This fireplace, it might look like marble, but it's not. It's been painted and it's wood. It's probably, they've done probably a better job than I would have done, but it's got to come out really, or at least be taken back to wood or whatever, or yeah, we should probably replace it really.
Well, yeah, it needs to come out so we can address the wall.
Yeah.
And then we'll see from there.
Yeah.
So if we take it out without breaking it,
yeah,
possibility of.
Well, the top is definitely loose.
Yeah.
As you can see, it wobbles. So we're going to see what we can do really. So yeah, we know smoke was leaking from it, so at some point, so we're going to see what we can do. So yeah, should we get it go? That's the whole thing really. Oh, it's a bit of a whiff. I think rodent. There's fire, but that's a bit rodenty. Yeah, I think things have been living in here. Yeah, that's an animal nest. Yeah. That's what the whiff is. Nice. Cool.
Oh, there's a skull there as well.
Yeah. Oh, there's a bird skull.
It's not a bird skull. Birds don't have teeth like that.
No. A little skull.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is that? It's got teeth. Rat.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Back that straight up, I think.
Yeah. Ooh. Rather not nice.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So that needs bagging up straight away. We think the woodworm are long since departed, but we're going to give him a little bit of a drink anyway.
Drink up, my baby.
Yeah, have a little slurp. So far, the weeks of work we put in on this room have either been quite destructive.
Very destructive, actually.
Very destructive.
And I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. or they've been hidden behind the seams. I don't think anyone's going to walk into this room with a tape measure and start measuring the heights of the sockets or anything like that. They're not.
If they do, they're not coming back again.
No, they're not going to start tapping on the walls and go, "Oh, how thick's your insulation?" They're not going to start, asking on the brand of woodworm treatment or anything like that. But from now on in, everything we do is going to either have like a positive effect on the house, or it's going to, start having a really good visual
Well, that's
effect.
it. I mean, we've knocked it all back now, haven't we? And now we've got to start building it back. And like you say, we've done the behind the scene bits and pieces, like the insulation, the woodworm treatment, the taking all the mortar off the walls, and now it's putting everything back on now.
Yeah, so it's all going to look good from now on.
Yeah.
So, as usual, folks, give us a bit of the old like and subscribe.
He does like that.
Yeah, and leave a comment or two because
We love reading those. And we'll see you next time.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.